It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. The name of the band is Starblind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people in the chat room asking, who is this?
Because I would have swore it was Iron Maiden's Stranger in a Strange Land.
Yeah, there you go. But, yeah, Starblind, and the name of the tune there is called Demon Rider.
It's good.
It's very good. We like Starblind.
Yeah, we do. Good band, solid. And yeah, that song was a definite, almost an exact rip from Iron Maiden, but okay. It's Iron Maiden. Not bad.
Like them a lot.
You know that song, right? Stranger in a Strange Land.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what that sounded just like. I was humming the words to that song. All good.
Mm-hmm. Well, this week we learned that our good friend Terry Ilous got booted from his gig with Great White.
Yeah.
Very odd.
It really was kind of strange. He what did he do? He played gigs like the weekend before, and then Monday they put it out that he was out the band.
Yeah, just last week he played weekend gigs, and then Monday he found out via the internet that he no longer was in the band.
He found out at the same time we did.
Yeah, more or less. Terry Ilous says that he found out through an email and the internet that he was no longer the singer of Great White.
Jeez.
Ilous, formerly of the 80s LA hard rock band XYZ, joined Great White in 2010 after replacing touring vocalist Janie Lane, formerly of Warrant.
Mm-hmm.
And Ilous led Great White through two albums, 2012's Elation and last year's Full Circle, before Terry was shown the door earlier this week and replaced by Mitch Malloy.
Right. Whoopee.
I don't know Mitch Malloy's material well enough to even know if he's a suitable replacement. I mean, I know he's a good singer. I couldn't tell you what his vocal style is like.
Right.
But never have I heard, anybody comment on Mitch Malloy and say, man, that guy sounds like Jack Russell.
No, I mean, he did a good job in that whatchamacallit, the Van Halen demo that's out there.
Yeah, it's a demo, right.
He did one song, I think, and that's like the extent of what anybody knows about the guy. It's not like he was in any big band or anything.
Yeah, I always see his name pop up on these little festival gigs and stuff, and it's like, okay, I'm sure he's a nice enough guy. I've seen him on interviews and things.
Yeah.
But I don't know him to be anything in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, had he not gotten the Van Halen nod for a matter of a few weeks,
right,
would anybody know the name Mitch Malloy?
Probably not.
Earlier today on Tuesday, that would have been July 10th, Ilous released a statement in which he claimed he was blindsided by the dismissal from Great White, saying he had proudly invested all of his energy and focus into the Great White brand. This is Terry's statement. As of Monday, July 9th, I was informed through an email and the internet that I was no longer with the band Great White. After having just played a round of back-to-back shows this week, needless to say, I was taken by surprise.
Right.
I would first of all like to personally thank each and every one of the fans for their continued support over the last 8.5 years. It has meant a great deal to me to meet most of you and get to know so many amazing people while on the road. Taking over the lead for such an iconic band as Great White was no easy task. I did my best to never disappoint the fans and to respect and protect the legacy that Mark, Michael, Audie, and Jack had established so many years ago. Throughout these 8.5 years, I have proudly invested all of my energy and focus into the Great White brand, and while I am disheartened at the abrupt end to this year's tour, I will now put my focus into solo works and other endeavors.
Yeah. So what really happened?
I don't know.
What do you think happened? It's not a one thing.
I'm sure maybe they were getting some bad reviews.
Yeah, I've never seen any. I mean, I've never seen any good ones, but I've never seen any bad ones.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they have some touring plans, and maybe he said that he's had other things to do, or
Right,
maybe he couldn't fulfill them. I know he does like voiceover work. I know that he does. I think he works with. I don't know if he still does, but I know at one point I was speaking with him, and he does a lot of voiceover work for like Disney and things like that.
Right.
He does, character voices and things.
Okay.
So maybe they were trying to plan some touring or something, and he basically was like, well, I got this, and that. We're going to have to maybe reschedule. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird. He seems like a fairly low-key guy. Doesn't seem like the kind that would be like a distraction asshole in the band.
No.
But then again, how do we know?
We don't.
He might very well be a distractive asshole in the band. Who knows?
Well, after 8.5 years.
Well, who knows, dude? I mean, how many bands stay together 20 years and then they throw people out?
That is true.
I mean, Dokken made it 8.5 years with Don and George.
True.
First 8.5, they did okay. And then they couldn't stand each other for a while. Now they sort of get along.
That's true.
So who fucking knows?
Yeah.
All I know is Mitch Malloy ain't going to bring any asses to the Great White seats. That's
not in the least.
There's one singer that could bring asses back into the seats for Great White, and he's still singing for Great White, just the other one.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this was their moment to try and do the one last cash run. Get Jack back and do it, unless Jack wouldn't do it. But makes no sense at all to go with Mitch Malloy. And again, I don't know nothing about Mitch. I'm sure he's great. But it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. At this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, how big is Great White ever going to be? They're what, a mid-show band at best?
Well, the thing is that Jack, while Jack is still out there touring around and actually singing the songs the way that you remember them.
Yeah.
He's got no, there's really no validity to the other Great White Band.
I mean, people will say that it's Mark's guitar. I don't buy it with that band. I really don't. And, to me, Great White is Jack Russell, period. Jack could be the Dave Mustaine guy. You have whoever the fuck he wants, and as long as the songs sound okay, that's Great White to me. And seeing it, I mean, his band plays the songs as close to the originals as anybody.
I would agree with that. I've seen Jack probably a half a dozen times in the last 5 years, maybe.
Sure.
Believe it or not, as crippled up as he is,
yeah,
he still goes out there and gives it his all.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like an 80-year-old guy fucking coming up to the stage, but he still sounds good.
He does.
He may need to sit down after a little while or be on crutches or something, but he can still bring it.
That is true. In Monday's July 9th statement announcing Malloy's addition to Great White, guitarist Mark Kendall said that Ilous has been released to join his other projects.
Wow, what a shitty thing.
To join his other projects.
That's a fucking shitty statement there.
He added that he and his bandmates wished Terry the best of luck and thanked him for his run with Great White.
Wow.
Well, I think that's kind of telling right there.
Yeah. In other words, beat it.
Yeah. If you can't commit 100% of your time to Great White, then we don't need you.
Yeah. So beat it, pal.
Well, these guys got to make a living, and if one of your main gig isn't cutting it, you probably got other things, on the burner.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think a Great White show pays? That version.
Oh, for that version?
Yeah.
Boy, if they get 10,000 a show,
oh, I'd be shocked if
that's what I'm saying.
Much.
If they get 10,000 a show,
I would say half or less. I can't. I mean, if they're doing a club, can you see them getting 5?
Do you think that L.A. Guns and Great White, the Mark Kendall version, is on par with each other money wise?
I would think that L.A. Guns right now is probably a little higher because of the reunion with Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
I just, without Jack, I can't. can't all I can say is if I was booking it, I wouldn't even book it, because all you're going to get is the stragglers that don't know that it's not Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. And I'm not shitting on it. I just can't see that. I don't know anybody that has ever come to me, the show, a email request, anything, and said, hey, could you play something off of Elation? Or could you play something from Full Circle? I've never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so clearly what they've been doing has no traction.
No.
I mean, because we would at least get a request here or there for something, and it has zero traction to it.
Well, I remember when I interviewed Mark Kendall for Elation, and he still had the old school mentality at the time where he was just like, yeah, we just hired this publicist firm, and we just we just hired this company that's going to get us some airplay.
Yeah, they're going to work the single.
It's like, where are you going to get airplay?
Yeah. Beats me.
When's the last time that a band from that era got quote unquote airplay?
Yeah. Not on anything new.
No.
Never.
Mm-mm.
Not on commercial stations.
No, that's what I'm saying, but that's what they were gearing for.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him, I said, do you think commercial radio is your market?
He's like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, nobody's listening to that.
And no, not even the classic rock stations.
Mm-mm.
At best, they're going to play Once Bitten, Twice Shy, and that's it. What else would they play by them? They're not a band that transitioned well into classic rock at all.
No.
I mean, I don't know. Do they have any songs that get even remote play? Just Once Bitten, right?
For the most part, yeah, I would say that's the one if you're going to hear it on commercial radio.
And they won't even get full money from that because it's not their song.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they did not. It's not like you'll hear the Angels song or
Save All Your Love or something like that.
Desert Moon or something. Nobody's playing those songs, are they?
I don't know.
Rock Me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't hate these songs. Not a huge fan of the band overall.
I know you're not. I've always liked them. I've gone to see them on many, many occasions.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times. Nicest guys, I will say that. Of the bands, this is anti whatever that question was at the beginning of the show, but I would put both Jack and Mark and Audie as three of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. They're very nice people. Don't you think?
I've never had an issue with anybody in the band.
Yeah, I mean they were always really, really, especially Jack. Jack was super nice to me. So it's not an issue of where they were dicks and people just like rebelled against them. It's just, I don't know. And you have a different opinion, obviously, but to me, they're just middle of the road, forgettable rock. I mean, I don't have any, I don't have any of their albums on my phone. Every once in a while, a song will pop up in like a playlist or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that song. And then I'll go and I'll pull up what album it's on. I'll try to listen to it. I get to like song 2 and I'm like, all right, I'm out of this. They're just like forgettable music to me.
Right. Well, probably one of my favorite releases from the band Great White. Well, actually I have 2 that I listen to pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. Was the Great Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That live disc that they recorded and they, did all Zeppelin songs.
Right.
That was a really good disc. I thought they did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was
Can't Get There From Here.
No.
No?
I wasn't a fan of that one.
Oh.
Not a fan.
Liked one of those, didn't you? That was on the Kolodner thing?
No. That was the only one.
Oh.
That was the only one that was on the, what was that label? It started with a P.
I don't know. I don't even remember.
Portrait
Records.
Yeah, Portrait Records. They tried to revive that brand, and it just didn't quite cut it.
Yeah. Portrait died with Saga doing On the Loose. That was the last good Portrait album ever.
Right. Let me see here. Great White. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, what was their albums? Hooked, Sail Away, Shot in the Dark, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. Was there more? Those are the ones that I know off the top of my head.
Yeah. Let It Rock is the album that I'm talking about.
Let It Rock. That was a Portrait, wasn't it?
No, they did that on their own.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was a really good, well done release.
Right.
In fact, yeah. I'll play a little bit. I'll just play a little bit of it. I thought that they had a good vibe going with this.
Sure.
Here's a little bit. What do you think?
That's all right. I wouldn't go out of my way to hear it, but it's okay. I mean, I like Jack's voice in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, again, they were, if you went to the 80s, they were Billy Squier to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just one of those bands that, like, yeah, you hear a song, you're like, yeah, all right, or, you know, most of Styx. Most of Styx in the 80s.
Right.
You know, not the 70s when they were good, but the 80s when they were doing Mr. Roboto and Don't Let It End.
Sure.
You know, that's who Great White always was to me. It was like you had bands like Guns N' Roses or Skid Row or Tesla or something that had a distinct sound to them. Then you had Great White, which would fill the gap when you'd go get a beer between those two, between any of those two bands. You know, Great White was just kind of like, the band you could hear at the bar. To me, you know, and I know a lot of people love them. And again, I'm not shitting on them and saying that they're bad. They just never, you know, let's move it. No, they never moved it to me. I just kind of was like, all right, whatever. But nice guys.
Yeah. All right, moving along with the music news here.
All right.
Now we've covered this topic a million times.
Right.
But according to Stephen Pearcy of RATT,
right,
he said Warren DeMartini was not fired.
Okay.
He said he was not fired from RATT, and that the reason he's not with them is he just didn't want to go out there.
Yeah. So stop telling us that we don't know what we're talking about, you YouTube fucks. Did you see that on YouTube this week?
What part?
How do you guys know that he was fired or wasn't fired? How do you guys know that he's still getting paid?
No, yeah, I did see that.
Shut up. God damn it. I just, fuck the YouTube people. I hate them.
Yeah. So anyway, Pearcy says that Warren DeMartini didn't want to go out there and play shows with the band, which led to the guitarist's departure from the group.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Well, hey. If he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play. I don't know. I'm sort of tired of that story, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I did throw a text to Bobby. I didn't hear back, so I don't know if we're on the bad again or what.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you're talking about having Steven on, I know what he's going to say ahead of it. It's like you could interview me and I could do it, for you. We got to continue on. We got to keep the rat and roll going, and fans want to hear what the fans want to hear. That's going to be the line, right?
Well, that's basically what he said. I'm just moving forward. Juan and myself, we're just moving forward and trying to keep some of the legacy involved.
Right. It's like, all right. So basically, it is what it is. It just stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Stinks that they've wrecked that band for us.
When Eddie Trunk asked about specific issues that Warren and the other two members of RATT's classic lineup couldn't agree on, Steven says, I can't speak for the guy. The guy didn't want to go out there.
Okay.
I wouldn't even call it work. He's privileged enough 35 years later to be able to go out and do what we do. And there's still a lot of fans out there who'd love to hear the music. That's all that concerns me. So if anybody else wants to do it in the band, regardless of whether it's Warren or somebody else, they can take a hike.
All right.
So basically, Steven's saying, if you want to be in RATT, you're going to do it on my terms or not at all.
Yeah. And I guess you really can't blame Warren. I mean, in the end, it is a job. And look, if either one of us could not go to work, if we had enough money in the bank to not work, would we work? I wouldn't.
Right.
I would be fucking sitting around writing books. I wouldn't be fucking sitting here reading code and wasting my money on pinball machines.
Right. Steven continued, Warren is no longer in the group. It was his choice, not ours. Steven clarified, the company is one thing, the corporation is another. But being in a band, that's a whole nother world.
Yeah. I just don't know how Steven is going to sell his solo band versus what he's doing as quote-unquote RATT.
Yeah, well, again, it's just how you bill it. That's all it is.
But there's zero difference.
True, I agree. But the only difference is that Steven can play his solo material at his solo shows if that's what he wants to do. Not that it's going to be a lucrative gig for him, but because he's a creator and he's a singer and he likes to perform,
right?
It gives him an opportunity to stretch out and, play some stuff from his solo releases.
But didn't I see, too, this week, he said that they're going to record some new, quote-unquote, RATT music?
I have not heard.
I saw that somewhere, too, that they're going to record, like an EP.
Okay.
They're going to record as RATT because they don't want to just tour and play greatest hits. That I did see this week. And I was like, oh, my goodness. I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Recorded. I mean, didn't they not do that on purpose with Jizzy for all those years? Because
no, they weren't allowed. No, they weren't allowed.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, they weren't allowed to record as RATT. They were allowed to tour as RATT, but they were not allowed to record as RATT.
Right.
That was part of their lawsuit agreement with Steven, I guess.
Right. Well, okay. Sorry, I'm distracted. They keep sending me these videos of this fucking Iron Maiden. I got to put my phone away.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Asked how RATT found its latest editions, Pearcy said he went through auditions, many people, and we invited a lot of people to come down. We move forward. We don't waste time, or at least Juan and I don't. We didn't want this just to hit a curb, so we auditioned all these people and decided on guys that we thought would hang around a bit and grow, hopefully see a few more years of this. Right. And it wasn't a simple task by any means, but that's what we settled with. We don't settle. We actually wanted to work, and so far we have liftoff. Steven confirmed that George Lynch of Doc and Lynch Mob was approached as a possible replacement for DeMartini, but the two parties could not come to an agreement.
Do you think that would have worked?
No.
I don't either.
Mm-mm.
Too different stylistically.
Yeah, but the thing is did you want to go see George Lynch at RATT?
No.
No, of course not.
No, but to be honest, I don't really want to see Jordan Ziff of RATT either.
If we wanted to get a big name, it would have went down, and that would have been that, the singer said. But it's all scheduling, what bands they're in, what they're doing. It involves quite a lot of things. I don't know if they're on the road, if they're with other bands, if they're in the studio. So we had to take all these things into consideration.
Right.
With George, it was one of my first. I brought it up first, and we got a hold of him, and with much respect, it just didn't gel. I mean, not with him playing, because he's re-recorded some RATT songs with me before, and things were great. So, with much respect, I think George is a phenomenal guitar player. It just didn't work out. But it was nothing. It was just nothing out of the ordinary if you're hiring or trying to pull in somebody. Mm-hmm. We want this to last for a bit. We're not just going into it like, okay, let's do a bunch of shows. Mm-hmm. We wanted to go into this with, okay, we want to record a couple of new songs.
Right.
We want to tour the world next year. We want to do things that we haven't been able to do in about 2 or 3 years. And that was the bottom line. But much respect to George. I mean, he's phenomenal. It's not like we don't know each other and we haven't played with each other.
No. Maybe Steven just couldn't understand what George was saying as far as how much he wanted because of his fucking phone.
He was also asked about the rumor that Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Jakey Lee was asked to step in for DeMartini. Pearcy said no, he was not approached. We love Jake. He goes back to Steven's pre-RATT days and Mickey RATT before the original guys with me. So, of course, that would have been a great contender. But no, we never went there.
Okay.
We just don't know what these guys are doing, Steven added. It's like I said before. They have other bands, they have other projects, records they're doing, so you don't waste time going, okay, let's get on the road with RATT with these new guys, and then they've got to pull out and do some solo stuff that they've got going with their bands. That's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Pearcy also confirmed that there are plans for the current lineup of RATT to record and release new music before undertaking a more extensive tour next year. So there's your answer.
Yeah, great. Can't wait.
What we're going to do this time around is we're going to record a few songs and release it as we see fit. We're not going to go into a full record until we've put out a few songs and to prove ourselves. Because if it's just Juan and me, we've written songs together for years. He's a great singer guy. I'm the singer guy. We just go and do what we do. It's not as complex as people are making out or trying to make it out. It's very simple. We're going to go out there and we're going to do a record of a few songs, and we will. We'll put out a few out there before the next tour, which is kind of what Steven did with his solo stuff.
Right.
He just kind of did 1 or 2 songs, put them out, and then finally he released the whole record.
So translation, no one gives a shit right now.
Well, again, it's pointless to put out a full album.
Well, but what it is Steven doesn't have a deal. So he's going to record a couple songs and try and lure Frontiers into signing RATT.
True.
That's what he's doing. I mean, let's not get carried away with it that he just wants to put songs out there so he can tour on them. He can tour on the songs that they've already done.
True.
You know, they're putting out a song 2, 3, and then they're going to work it through Frontiers and get a deal with Frontiers and then do an album. Isn't that what Steven did with
his solo stuff? Yeah.
Put 2, 3 songs out, then Frontiers came calling. He took his $20,000 and he signed. You know, I'm sure that's what's going on here. No? You don't think so?
I don't have any doubt that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just going to throw out a couple of songs and see if there's any interest anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's like, why dedicate all the time and effort into writing a whole album if you don't have anyone to market it to?
Right. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Asked why he and Juan chose not to reveal the identities of RATT's newest member prior to the past weekend's concert, Steven said, we want
know who it was.
We just wanted to work people in and not have to change midstream. Okay, it's not working with this guy or something. We wanted to know exactly what was happening, and the word got out anyway a day before the show, which is no big deal. I just like to keep things under cover until you're ready to go. And we were ready to go, and now the next show, I'm sure it's going to be more of an ass whipping because now we got our feet wet.
Right. Okay. Don't believe that answer at all, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
My thought is, didn't want to say it because he knew it would tank the shows.
Yeah.
You know, when the biggest name in your new band is Pete Holmes, you know, no offense to Pete, but Jesus, really? You're a band that sold, 20 million records, and you got Pete Holmes and two guys nobody's heard of? Come on. So, I'm sorry. No, not saying nobody's heard of. I'm sure their parents know.
Right. So anyway, the band, as of today, consists of Stephen Pearcy, Juan Crucier, Jordan Ziff, Chris Sanders, and Pete Holmes.
That's what I think of when I think of RATT.
Mm-hmm.
That tandem of Chris Sanders and fucking Jordan Ziff, that just screams RATT to me.
Mm-hmm. So that's what's going on with the RATT camp.
Well, good for them.
I did reach out to Steven. I said, you know, now that you do have a show or two under your belt, why don't you come on the show? And of course I got...
let's do it this week. No,
well, that's what he said. It's like, yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. He'll do it. Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Once you chase him down for 6 months.
We'll get him on.
Yeah, I know.
It'll take a while, but I'll corner him like a rat.
I just don't know. What do you even ask him? Other than why?
That is true.
I mean, that's really the question, is why?
Well, we know why.
Money.
Of course.
But I wonder if he'll just admit that.
No.
What if we ask him it that way?
Well, we can.
I think we should literally just say, Steven, is this really just a money gig? Come on. Be honest.
I mean, the RATT name is recognizable.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you build a brand or a legacy over, 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Blotzer was doing. He was getting gigs under the RATT name, but it wasn't RATT.
So, does Steven hate Blotz? Is that part of this?
Well, here's the funny thing. I saw some old footage all the way back to the 80s.
Okay.
Of Blotzer and Steven.
Yeah.
And just from the footage that I saw, Blotzer was always haranguing Pearcy. All the time. Always making some snide comments and things.
Right.
And I was just like, yeah, I can see how the little bit of animosity would happen there. And then when Blotzer released his book, what was that, about 6-8 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, Pearcy was gonna release a book too, and what was Blotzer's book called? Do you recall what it was? It was something about rat tail or something. I forgot what it was, but from what I understand anyway, this is not gospel.
Tales of a Rat.
Tales of a Rat. I think he grabbed that title because I think Steven's book was going to be called that or something. And then in Blotzer's book, he claimed, I don't know, he made some accusations about the way that the money was being handled in the band and stuff like that.
Right.
And that kind of, got under Steven's skin as well.
Okay.
So I know that there were several things that had happened.
Right.
And it just really, festered.
Okay. Well, so they're not gonna work it out.
No, I don't think so. Now your promoter friend over there in Ohio, he had put that post out on his Facebook.
Yeah.
That he knew what was going on in the RATT camp and that they were working it out. It was going to be the lineup that we saw at Rock USA.
Yeah, guess that didn't work out.
Didn't he say something like you could take it to the bank or something like that?
I'm glad I didn't.
So anyway, eventually we'll get Steven on the show and we'll see what's going on with him.
And maybe we'll get Bobby. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't commented since it's been back in the news, not just with us, but anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
He's laying low for a minute, which is stunning for him.
Well, maybe he's got nothing left to say, or maybe his lawyer probably told him you need to shut up.
Or that court thing didn't go well for him. I don't know how that went, but that would be my hunch. Because if it went well, I have to believe he'd be being loud. Don't you think?
You would think so. See, I've been redeemed.
Yeah, see? And my new band is back out there. Here comes Sean Sheldon again.
Right.
Well, I don't think Sean will be back. He'll be a new singer.
Yeah. All right. Well, you sent over a song.
I did.
So why don't you tell us what this is?
This is the next song from our good friend, Bob Leather.
Oh, really?
And I figured you could either play it all. It's short. It's like 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
You could either play the whole song, or you can just play and stop as you see fit to comment on some lyrics, because boy, is it a doozy.
All right. Well, we haven't heard from Bob Leather in forever.
Yes.
Did he send this to you?
He most certainly did.
Okay, because I noticed that I got a follower by the name of Bob Leather this week on my Twitter account.
Right.
So Bob is reemerging, I guess.
Yeah, if that's really him. But
yeah,
this is definitely really him. It came from an email address I know.
Okay. Wonder where Bob has been.
I don't know. Probably hooked up with some Mexican chick at the 7-Eleven.
Some Spictina.
Spictina, that's right.
Right. All right. Well, let's see what Bob Leather has to say in words and music.
Yes.
The name of this tune is called Are You Legal?
That's right.
All right. I'm not sure if I haven't heard any of this because I just downloaded it.
Right.
So I don't know if he means are you legal as in are you legally in this country, or are you legal as in are you of legal age?
You'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, here's some the stylings of Bob Leather. Are you legal?
All right.
Walking down the street, looking for some pussy to fuck. My cock is in my hand, my fingers in my ass. Right.
He's walking down the street with his cock in his hand and his fingers in his ass.
Right out the jump.
Wow, that's quite the spectacle.
That's quite the impression in your mind, isn't it?
This guy's gonna get arrested just for indecent exposure.
That's right.
All right. Okay, get that in your mind, kids. He's walking down the street with his hand on his cock and his fingers in his ass.
That's right.
All right.
Now, I need a pocket pussy. I know a sexy lady. I bet she'd like to fuck. If I could get her in my bed, I'd spread her ass open and I'd come in her cunt from
So he's hunting ladies.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's hunting pussy, I think that's what he said in the one. So that's how he hunts pussy with. Then he takes her home and he spreads her ass open.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. This sounds like you just threw a bunch of words together with some music behind it.
I like it.
Okay.
It's a hit.
It's not exactly rhythmical.
It's a hit.
All right. Here we go.
None of it fucking fits. It doesn't matter.
No, it's just a bunch of words.
Too funny.
Okay.
so fucking good. I go to the borough store with my cock in my pocket. I look for
What with what in his pocket?
I think he said his cock.
That's what I thought he said.
I think he said he goes to the porno store with his cock in his pocket.
Okay.
That's good.
Chinese whore, I'm gonna make her seconds right now. Get down, be so horny. Wow, fuck you, because you gotta cut. Wow, fuck you.
Because of what?
Because you've got a cunt.
Yeah, I know, but what is it? What is the chorus?
I fucked you because you've got a cunt.
Oh, is that what he's saying?
I think, rewind and play it again, but I think that's what he says, is I'll fuck you because you've got a cunt.
All right.
Because you gotta cut. Wow, fuck you. You don't know what I want. Wow, fuck you. You sucking my dick. Wow, fuck you. I'm the captain of the U.S. Army.
Look, he's the captain of the U.S. Army.
He most certainly is.
Okay. Wow, that was a random line.
Well, he's stream of consciousness with his lyrics, apparently.
All right.
Bitch.
Who knew that was going to be a part of the song?
Well, he's improvising.
I guess. Wow. All right. You're a teenage cunt, but you know how to shave?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Genie and a pussy between your legs. You told me you were 18 and you opened up your ass. Now I got.
You told me you were 18 and you opened up your ass.
Right.
Open for business.
I like the message here.
Okay.
Me in my hand. Well, are you legal? Well, fuck you. Because you got a cunt. Well, fuck you. Are you legal or not? Well, fuck you. Because you are a cunt. Well, fuck you. Are you legal?
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic. Bob Leather is album of the year.
That's none of it really rhymes, but
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there, but it's funny.
it's like, yeah, play this tune. I'm just going to throw in my stream of consciousness a bunch of words.
Yeah, well, at least he put music to it.
He did.
So now maybe that's his new thing. Maybe he gave up giving us phone calls to just do stream of consciousness sort of rap. Maybe.
All right. Well, Bob Leather.
There you go.
It's been a long time since we've heard from him, and I noticed that I don't think his Filth Radio broadcast is still available on Spreaker.
No, I think it went out of print.
Yeah. But yeah, the few podcasts that he did under Filth Radio was pretty stellar.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, very interesting to say the least.
Yep.
All right, well, let's play this song uninterrupted and take us out of this segment.
All right.
So we're going to play a couple of tunes. So here you go. You get to hear Bob Leather in its entirety.
Yes.
This is Are You Legal exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
Walking down the street, looking for some pussy to fuck. My cock is in my hand, my fingers in my ass. cunt from behind. Wild fuck yeah, because you got a cunt. Wild fuck yeah, you don't know what I want. Wild fuck yeah, you sucking my dick. Wild fuck yeah. Oh God, you got a miniskirt and you got some panties. I wanna stick my cock in your little pink ass. So fucking good. I go to the porno store with my cock in my pocket. I look for a Chinese whore. I'm gonna make her suck it right now. Get down, be so horny. Wild fuck yeah, because you got a cunt. Wild fuck yeah, you don't know what I want. Wild fuck yeah, you sucking my dick. Wild fuck yeah, I'm the captain of the U.S. Army. And no more, bitch. Let me come. You are a teenage cunt, but you know how to shave. Got a little pink bikini and a pussy between your legs. You told me you were 18 and you opened up your ass. Now I got my meat in my hand. Well, are you legal? Wild fuck yeah, because you got a cunt. Wild fuck yeah, are you legal or not? Wild fuck yeah, because you are a cunt. Wild fuck yeah, are you legal?